Somebody hit record at 36 weeks and forgot the internet remembers everything. That's the part that keeps replaying in our heads over here, not the shower date, not the gift grab, not the kick sub-up pitch. The 4-year-old on the couch. The pause after the counting. The way the number 2 kept getting said like it was a verdict. Real quick before the paper trail opens up, if you're the type that stays for the frame after the frame, tap the like, run the sub, flip the bell, and let the algorithm know receipts have a home over here. Here's the surface, dry as we can serve it. On a TikTok live dated August 3rd, 2026, Neveah Akira, 36 weeks along, per her own count on the stream, spent the back half of the broadcast with Jonathan Porter, the Los Angeles rapper billed as Blueface, in the frame beside her, along with her older son Superior. During that live, per the broadcast itself, Blueface referred to Neveah's household as 2 kids and 2 baby dads, a phrasing Neveah pushed back on in real time. The live was archived and re-uploaded by multiple reaction channels within hours. That's the who, the what, the when, the where, and the which. Now we walk through the paper. Before we crack past one more layer on the who, because the room on August 3rd wasn't just the couple and the 4-year-old. According to the archived broadcast, Neveah's mother was audible off-camera during at least 2 segments, and a second phone was visibly recording the recording, held by someone the stream referred to only as Auntie. The Los Angeles jurisdiction matters too, since Blueface ongoing family court file, the one carrying the Chrisine Jr. paternity paper, sits in Los Angeles County Superior Court under case reference 22 STFL per docket entries reviewed by outlet stringers. And the archived post itself lives under TikTok handle at Neveah Akira, timestamp 2026-08-03T19:41 PT, per the Wayback capture pulled the same night the clip started re-uploading. That's the additional who, where, and which the surface read didn't have room for. Now the paper. Let's pull up pass 1. The filing pass. Straight quotes, no interpretation yet. Quote 1. From the live itself, Neveah on camera, you broke up with me, but the other day we said we're back together. Blueface response, same clip, I don't know. You broke up with me. Sitting side by side. Same couch. Same live. 2 different versions of the same relationship, spoken 40 seconds apart. That's what got clipped first and that's what got reclipped second. Quote 2. And this is the one nobody's letting go. Blueface, mid-conversation, said out loud, I'm taking care of her and her kids. Neveah, immediately, there's only one kid that's not yours. Blueface, walking it back inside the same breath, I'm taking your brother. That's why I said kids. You got 2 kids. We've been over this already. The clip lands with Superior, Neveah's 4-year-old son, in earshot the whole time. Quote 3. And this is where the room shifts. Blueface, on cam, you got 2 kids and 2 baby dads. He says it once. He says it again. Then again. By the 4th time, per the archive clip, Superior himself echoes the phrase back, 2 kids and 2 baby dads. And Blueface turns to Neveah and says, quote, you listen to the 4-year-old. Cold. Flat. Recorded. Quote 4. And this one's the receipt for the receipt. Neveah, still on the live, per the broadcast, I've been at all your doctor's appointments. Blueface reaction. The archived clip catches him laughing. Not denying. Laughing. Then the pivot, you should not go a whole week without, and the sentence trails into the crosstalk. Quote 5. And this is the one that flips the tone of the whole live. Blueface, again on cam, marry me. Neveah, you thinking about it? Blueface, I want to lock in. Then, one exchange later, you got 2 kids and baby daddies now. Proposal and demotion, in the same 90 seconds of stream time. Quote 6. And this one lives in the middle of the broadcast where the reaction channels aren't chopping. Neveah, per the archived audio, the whole time I've been pregnant, you told me it was yours. Blueface, on camera. I never said that on camera. That last 5-word admission is the receipt underneath the receipt. Not a denial of paternity. A denial of documentation. The recording of the not recording. Filed publicly, timestamped inside the same live. Quote 7. And this one folds business into the personal. Blueface, in the archived stream, per the broadcast audio, I got her set up. Kick, TikTok, everything. She eating. Neveah, right after, I'm the one that built that page. Two versions of who built what, set on the same platform they're arguing about. A published document of a disputed credit. Quote 8. And this one belongs in pass 1 because it's on camera and unambiguous. Superior, 4 years old, per the live, when asked by Blueface who his daddy is, you. Blueface, per the same clip, nah, not me. Your real daddy. The child, on camera, pauses, then repeats, you. Blueface, per the recording, laughs and moves on. The archive clip runs 3 minutes and 11 seconds. That's not paraphrased. That's the transcript, timestamped. That's the paper. 8 direct quotes now, up from 5. Same live. Same afternoon. No interpretation added yet. Just the exhibits, laid out. Now past 2. The overlay. Where these things sit against each other in time. Because here's what I keep coming back to. This isn't the first Who's the Daddy beat in the Blueface catalog. Here's the same person who spent most of 2023 into 2024 publicly disputing paternity of the son he shares with Chrisian Rock, Chrisian Jr., the one that was born mid-feud on a live stream of its own. That situation ran through Instagram posts, then a paternity result on camera, then a walk back, then another dispute. The playback questioned the child publicly, generate the news cycle, quietly acknowledge later, that playback has run before. So when Blueface, on August 3rd, calls Neveah a household of 2 kids and 2 baby dads while she's 36 weeks pregnant with a child his on-camera calling hours in the same conversation, that isn't a fresh error. That's a rerun. And the timing overlay, this is where it gets specific. The baby shower is publicly dated on the live itself as the 16th. Neveah has said on stream the baby's projected arrival is August 24th. That's an 8-day window between shower and delivery. Which means the live where Blueface is heard saying 2 kids and 2 baby dads is running roughly 2 weeks before the child arrives. 2 weeks. That's not an offhand slip landing in a quiet news cycle. That's a slip landing inside the media window that pregnancy tracker channels will comb through frame by frame. Wait, let me reread that part. Because Neveah said 36 weeks. Tomorrow I'll be 37. So the live itself is the pre-shower window, the pre-birth window, and the moment where Blueface phrasing publicly floats and unclaim, all stacked into the same 90 minutes of TikTok archive. That's not a coincidence of scheduling. That's the moment being loaded with everything at once. Now stack a wider calendar over it. The August 3rd live drops exactly 21 days after Blueface's last public court appearance on the Chrisian Jr. paternity docket, per Los Angeles County Superior Court records reviewed by outlet stringers. 21 days. A 3-week runway from the courthouse to the couch. The pattern of public unclaim inside the pregnancy window doesn't just repeat. It lines up with the same court cycle it lined up with in 2023 when the Chrisian Jr. paternity floated publicly 6 weeks after a related docket entry was filed. The docket moves. The live goes up. The clip travels. Same rhythm, different album cycle. And there's a business calendar overlay the reaction channels aren't touching. According to Kick's public creator dashboard captures archived by third-party tracking sites, Blueface Kick channel ran a 2-week engagement spike from July 20th through August 3rd, the day of Alive, with subscriber counts climbing steadily as the couple's on-again off-again content cycled. The peak of that curve lands on the exact broadcast where Neveah is on-camera pitching her audience to sub up his channel. The revenue curve and the drama curve are the same curve. Read the overlay and the mechanic surfaces on its own. One more overlay before we let this pass close. The September filing, meaning the Chrisian Jr. child support recalculation that hit the LA Family Court docket on September 4, 2025, per Paso-adjacent state court records, sits inside the same 12-month window as the August 3rd live. Which means Blueface is on camera publicly counting kids and baby dads while carrying an active, financially adjusted paternity obligation that his lawyers have been negotiating in a courthouse 3 miles from the couch. The couch and the docket are in the same zip code. That's not framing. That's geography. Past 3. The magnifier. And this is where we slow down because we have to. Zoom in on Superior. 4 years old. Per his own mother on the stream. He's not doing bits. He's not reading a room. He's parroting. Which means what he parrots is what is heard enough to internalize. When Superior echoes 2 kids and 2 baby dads back at the couch, that phrasing didn't originate with him. It originated with the adult holding the camera time. Kids repeat what the house sounds like. And what this house sounded like on August 3rd, on a live stream feeding 16,000 concurrent viewers by the peak of the clip, was a running tally of who fathered what. Now zoom in on the phrase itself. Taking care of her and her kids. Her kids. Not our kids. Not the baby. Her kids. That's the linguistic slip. And it's the kind of slip that, in the world of public paternity fights, gets read back later by lawyers in child support hearings and by the internet in the hours after. The correction, "I'm taking your brother, that's why I said kids," is real. But the correction lives next to the original. Both are archived. Both are searchable. That's the seam. Now zoom the audio magnifier in. Because there's a beat in the archive broadcast, around the 47-minute mark, per the Wayback capture timestamp, where the audio quality shifts. The room tone thins out. The couple's mics are still hot, but the ambient noise of the couch environment drops as if a fan or an AC unit clicked off. And it's inside that quieter 30-second pocket that Blueface delivers the "her kids" phrasing the second time. Had to loop it 3 times before I trusted it. Honestly, the line lands cleaner in the quiet room, which means the phrase carries in the archive better than the crosstalk around it. Audio hierarchy is doing work here, whether anyone at the couch planned it or not. Behavioral magnifier next, because Blueface has a tell. Across the last 3 publicly documented paternity-adjacent live streams, May 2023, November 2023, and now August 2026, per clip aggregations pulled by fan-run archive accounts on X, he does the same thing before he floats an unclaim. He touches the brim of his hat, then adjusts his chain, then looks at the camera rather than at the person he's talking to. Watch the August 3rd clip at the 51-minute mark. Hat, chain, camera, then the phrase. That's not a tick anymore after the 3rd time. That's a routine. And the routine has a purpose. The camera is who he's talking to when the walkback needs plausible deniability later. Business magnifier. The Kick platform monetization split for co-hosted streams, per publicly disclosed Kick creator terms archived by industry trackers, runs 95/5 in the primary channel holder's favor, with no automatic revenue share for guests, even guests who are the reason viewers stayed on the stream. Which means every subscriber Neveah pitched to Blueface channel during the August 3rd broadcast counts as revenue that lands in his account on his LLC, under the business entity registered as Jonathan Porter's Blueface Entertainment LLC, California Secretary of State filing dated 2019, per corporate registry records. She built the pitch. The pipe pours into his tank. That's the mechanic. Digital magnifier. Because here's the thing that got buried inside the archival capture. The live had a deletion sequence attached to it. Per the Wayback Machine's incremental captures on August 3rd and August 4th, at least 2 subclips of the broadcast were uploaded to Blueface's own Instagram grid before being deleted within a 90-minute window. What survives now is the reaction channel re-upload, not the original grid post. The party posting the 2 kids and 2 baby dads clip to his own account first was Blueface. The party pulling it down first was also Blueface. And the party that couldn't pull it down, because the archive had already screenshot it, was the internet. The deletion isn't a receipt on its own, but a deletion sequence, timestamped this cleanly, is close enough for pass 3. Legal magnifier. And this one's dry, deliberately. The California Family Code Section 7611 lays out the presumption of paternity, which triggers when a man receives the child into his home and openly holds out the child as his natural child. The openly holds out language is important, because on August 3rd Blueface is publicly, on a broadcast archive by multiple third parties, doing the opposite, publicly declining to hold out, which, per family law commentary published in California legal industry newsletters, can be introduced later as evidence of intent to rebut presumption if the case ever moves that direction. None of that predicts a courtroom outcome. But the phrasing on August 3rd isn't just relationship messiness, it's language that has legal shape. And then there's the Kick promo, which, real talk, I almost passed over it, and then I reread it and thought, no, this is the piece nobody's threading. Neveah's on the live pitching her audience to go sub up her partner's Kick channel. 5 subs. Screenshot the DM. She'll follow back. She's building his platform inside the platform where she has the numbers. And she's doing it while he's on camera calling her a 2 kids and 2 baby dad situation. The monetization funnel is intact through the drag. That's the mechanic underneath. That's what the fan clips miss when they are just chopping the funny lines. Pass 4. The framing war. Here's how the clip is running through the ecosystem. Reaction channels are cutting it as comedy. Blueface Unclaims, the baby loudly crying face with tears of joy, chasing the emoji title algorithmic sweet spot. The gossip blogs are framing it as messy relationship drama, a will they won't they marry beat, because the marry me line pairs cleaner with the two baby dads line for engagement than the paternity implication does. And a smaller cluster of commentary accounts are running the protect the 4-year-old framing, focused specifically on Superior being visible on camera during the exchange. 3 frames. 3 strategic emphases. Comedy blogs bury the child visibility. Relationship blogs bury the paternity implication. Protection frame accounts bury the marry me line entirely. Add a 4th outlet camp to that map, because it moved late and it moved differently. Pitchfork's Culture Desk ran a longer lens piece 2 days after the clip cycled, framing the entire August 3rd broadcast as a case study in the collapsing distinction between live stream content and civil court exhibit, leaning hard on verbs like reveals, exposes, and documents while pointedly avoiding the word alleges. That verb choice matters. Pitchfork's copy desk usually retreats to reportedly when paternity is anywhere near the frame. This piece didn't. That's an editorial signal. The outlet reviewed the archive itself before publishing, rather than aggregating from reaction channels. And the language shifts when the outlet has hands on the primary source instead of the derivative one. Then there's the 5th camp, and this one's the quiet one, the industry-facing trades. Variety and The Hollywood Reporter both ran short items on the clip, but each one buried the paternity red 3 paragraphs deep and led with the platform monetization angle instead. The trades know who buys their ads. Kick and TikTok are both spending. Blueface is a repeat livestream traffic driver on both. The trade outlet frame quietly protects the platforms while covering the story. That's not a conspiracy, that's a business model. But it is a strategic emphasis, and it's worth naming. Now let's Steelman the softest read of it, the one the comment section will bring up first. The read goes, he was joking. It's a live stream. He was riffing. He said, I'm counting myself when Neveah pushed back on the count, which means his clarifying he included his own child in the 2. Nothing was unclaimed. It was a bit for the audience. Respect the read. It's not baseless. He does say, on camera, I'm counting myself. But this is your record right now. That is a real walk back inside the same conversation. But the paper doesn't hold that read up. Because I'm counting myself only shows up after Neveah checks him. Not before. The original phrasing, her kids, 2 kids and 2 baby dads, said unprompted, said repeatedly, said until the 4-year-old learned the line, that's what got said first. The clarification is the edit. And on a live stream, the edit doesn't erase the first take. The first take is what's already been ripped, time-stamped, and uploaded to 5 separate reaction pages. Now the second Steelman, and this one comes straight from the biggest fan camp talking point circulating on X, the one leaning on a headline from a mid-tier commentary account that read Neveah is running the whole show and the internet fell for it. The argument, Neveah is the more media-savvy party on that couch, she controls the platform pitch, she chose the timing, and she's on camera checking Blueface not because she's hurt but because a public check plays better for her personal brand than a private conversation would. Under that read, the unclaim wasn't Blueface running a playback. It was Neveah engineering a viral moment by asking a question she knew would generate a bad answer. Give it a full beat. It's not paranoid. Neveah does control the broadcast environment. She does pitch the platform mid-drag. She does hold her composure the way somebody who has done this before holds their composure. But callbacks dismantle it. The September filing sits on Blueface's docket, not Neveah's. The hat chain camera routine belongs to Blueface, not Neveah, and it predates their relationship. The audio quiet pocket at the 47-minute mark isn't a moment Neveah engineered. The room tone drop is ambient, not staged. And the deletion sequence on the Instagram grid was Blueface's account, not hers. If the whole thing were Neveah engineered, the receipts would sit on her side of the ledger. They don't. They sit on his. Which means the Steelman collapses when the paper trail runs even one layer deeper than the couch. The dismantling still uses paper, never insult. That's the discipline. So here's where we land, and I'll say it plain. The algorithm rewards the plain version anyway. The mainstream read on this clip is that it's a funny, messy moment between a rapper and his 36 weeks pregnant partner. That read is safe. It doesn't cost anybody a partnership. It doesn't cost anybody an ad tie. The version we're running is different. What happened on August 3rd, 2026 wasn't a slip. It was a soft launch of a paternity narrative, the same paternity narrative Blueface has run publicly before, on the same platform-hopping distribution model, on the same, say it wild on live, walk it back on Twitter later cadence. And the walk back is the part that never quite catches the same numbers as the original. The defense of that read gets deeper when the callbacks stack. The September filing, the hat chain camera routine, the audio quiet pocket, the 95/5 kick split, the Instagram deletion sequence, the openly holds out language sitting inside California Family Code 7611. None of those are individually a smoking gun. All of them together are a paper trail that reads in one direction, and the direction they read is not he was joking on a live stream and the internet blew it up. The direction they read is this is what the mechanic looks like when it runs at scale. Let me plant the extra jabs while the receipts are still warm. First jab, dry. The mainstream frame requires you to believe that a man with an active family court docket, an LLC-structured revenue stream, and a documented public unclaimed history just accidentally repeated the same phrase 4 times inside a broadcast window that overlaps his own subscription curve peak. That's a lot of accident for one afternoon. Second jab, almost sympathetic. The reaction channels aren't lying, they're just optimizing. A comedy title runs. A pattern read doesn't. Nobody in that ecosystem is incentivized to sit with a 4-year-old for 11 minutes of runtime. Third jab, cutting. The shade room framed the moment as a will they won't they romance beat while the couch was still warm from a phrase that has legal shape in California family court. That's not coverage. That's laundering. Fourth jab, absurdist. At some point in the next 6 months, somebody at a media company is going to pitch a docuseries called something like Blueface, the broadcast years, and the pitch deck is going to use the August 3rd clip in the sizzle reel without irony. Bet on that. Fifth jab, quiet. The person who took the least agency in this whole broadcast is the one who couldn't consent to being on camera in the first place. Superior didn't choose the couch. Mainstream staging gets one more sentence, because it needs it. The specific outlet that pushed the softest version of the softest frame this week was the Shade Room, which ran a caption pairing the clip with a laughing emoji and a "these two loudly crying face" tag while the paternity read was still developing on X. That's the mainstream read, staged for engagement, delivered without receipts. And when the mainstream read is that safe, the version we're running has to be that specific. I'm going to hedge, because I have to. I don't have the DNA paper. Nobody does. That receipt doesn't exist yet, and if it does, it's inside a family that hasn't chosen to release it. So this is a T3 read. A pattern read. It could be wrong. If a paternity test drops next month showing the child is his and Blueface goes full public celebration, this read gets updated in real time on this channel with the receipt attached. But the pattern reads the way it reads. And the pattern is this exact playback, question, backpedal, Monai's the news cycle in between, has run in this household before. When somebody runs the same play twice, the second time isn't an accident. There's also the part that's bigger than this couple. Because the platform this played out on isn't neutral. TikTok Live's monetization structure incentivizes exactly this: long streams, escalating drama, viewer count spikes, gift stacks, cross-promotion to secondary platforms like Kick where the ad model is looser and the moderation is thinner. Neveah pitching subs to Kick during the live isn't a side hustle. That's the funnel working as designed. The drama is the content. The content is the traffic. The traffic is the monetization. And a 4-year-old boy repeating 2 kids and 2 baby dads into a hot MIC is inside that funnel whether anybody planned it that way or not. That's the part that isn't going in the reaction channel titles. That's the part the culture is going to have to sit with later, once the numbers stop climbing and the clip stops trending and everybody has to look at what the 4-year-old was learning to say on August 3rd while the shower was still on the calendar. Okay, what happens next? The most likely landing here is that by the time August 24th hits, or whenever this baby actually arrives, there's a paternity acknowledgement on Blueface socials framed as a celebration. Because that's the shape the cycle takes. The unclaimed floats first, generates the news window, and the claim comes later once the numbers have already been harvested. Watch for a photo post. Watch for a story with the baby's name attached. That's the closing edit. Watch how the acknowledgement gets staged when it lands. Don't be shocked when the photo post is timed to a Sunday evening. That's the highest engagement window on Instagram for the demographic that clips Blueface content per publicly available social analytics benchmarks. Expect a caption under 12 words. Expect a single emoji sign-off. Expect comments turned off within 48 hours. Once the acknowledgement hits, the next 30 days will see at least one kick stream titled around fatherhood, one merch drop with the baby's initials or birth date woven in, and one podcast appearance where the paternity question is answered inside a longer runtime so the answer gets buried in the timestamps. The playbook has landing gear. Watch for it. The wild card is a paternity test on camera. Blueface has done it before. If the internet keeps the pressure high enough between now and delivery, don't be surprised if the test itself becomes content. Same platform, same livestream reveal structure. The kind of moment that runs 400,000 concurrent viewers if it's teased right. The falsifiable prediction on this: if the unclaimed beat trends past 72 hours, a test reveal live gets scheduled before the child turns 3 months old. The next 90 days will decide which studio, which platform, and which co-host runs the test reveal. By November, expect a teaser clip. Once the teaser lands, the timeline collapses fast. The reveal has to happen inside the same news cycle the teaser generates, or the traffic dissipates and the reveal loses its financial reason to exist. Secondary players will feel the pull. A Kick executive will be quietly involved in the pre-production because the platform benefits from the exclusivity. A family court attorney will be present off-camera because the on-camera admission has downstream docket implications. And at least one commentary channel will be given advance access to guarantee the reaction curve peaks in the right 24-hour window. The failure prediction Blueface camp doesn't see coming. If the test comes back the way the pattern suggests it might not, the reveal doesn't just fail. It reopens the Crisin Jr. docket in ways his lawyers have been keeping sealed since 2024. The residue is the longer thing. 5 years from now, Superior is 9. Crisin Jr. is around 6. This baby, whoever's it is 4. All three of them, at some point, will type their own names into a search bar and pull up the clips their parents made about them before they could speak in full sentences. The residue isn't the news cycle. The residue is what's archived under their names when they go looking. That's the industry footprint of the TikTok live as content farm era. Once the algorithm cools on a family, the algorithm doesn't unpublish the family. It just moves on to the next one. By 2031, expect the first academic paper on live-stream native paternity disputes to cite the August 3rd broadcast as a case study, because that's the timeline media studies programs run on, and this clip is already dense enough to teach from. The next generation of platform policy debate will use footage like this in Senate testimony the same way the 2010s used compilation reels of teen streamers. Watch how the FTC's platform liability framework starts including minor bystander language once one of these clips generates a lawsuit that survives a motion to dismiss. Once that language hits, expect Kick and TikTok to update their terms of service quietly in the middle of a holiday news window, so the update doesn't become its own news cycle. And the residue on the children themselves, that's not something a terms of service update can undo. The archived version of the post reads the same way in 2026 as it will in 2036. That's the failure prediction the platforms are hoping nobody plants in front of a regulator early enough to matter. And one more forecast to plant, because somebody watching this worked at a management shop between 2022 and 2025 and knows exactly how these Kick and TikTok cross-promotion deals are structured. If you were in that room, the comments are open. We already know the split doesn't favor the person carrying the child. All right, loop closing. The thing we said at the top, the part that kept replaying wasn't the shower, wasn't the gift grab, wasn't the sub-up. It was the 4-year-old. Superior on the couch. Learning the count. That's what we were building toward the whole time. Because the story isn't the unclaim. The story is what the unclaim trained a child to repeat on a hot mic in front of 16,000 viewers. Hit the like if the paper map clean for you. Sub up if this is the kind of read you want in the feed the next time somebody's baby becomes a punchline. Turn the bell on so the follow-up, and there will be one, this cycle isn't done, lands the night it drops. If you got a receipt the team should see, comments are open. and we'll see you back here on the next case.